Welcome to episode 106. Thank you for joining us. This week, we are very excited to be welcoming Captain Riley Tejcek to the show. Riley is the support officer for the Expeditionary Warfare School at the Marine Corps University here at MCB Quantico. As impressive as leading over 300 Marines may be, Riley is in contingency for the U.S. National Bobsledding Team. She's currently on the national team, out at team trials right now to make the final cut for the Winter Games in 2024. But being an elite athlete is nothing new. In college, Riley was on the George Washington University softball team, and as she tells us, as a Marine, she, as well as all other Marines, are tactical athletes. We talked to Riley about her path to the yellow footprints, what drives her to constantly excel at everything she does, and why representation matters. We had a lot of fun talking to Riley and look forward to tracking her progress through international competition at the highest level. And hopefully, some hardware around her neck when it's all said and done. So now, here's our conversation with Captain Riley Tejcek. Enjoy! Oh, and of note, when I was introducing Captain Tejcek, I initially said Amphibious Warfare School. I meant Expeditionary Warfare School. I'm aging myself. So anyways, welcome and thank you for joining us for episode 106. Have fun. Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners. Thank you, as always, for joining us today. As always, I'm super excited, but I'm really actually excited for our guests today. But I am currently joined by Nancy.
Hi, everyone.
And our superstar guest, Captain Riley Tejcek, is sitting in as the billet of support officer for the Amphibious Warfare School here at the Marine Corps University in Quantico. But as most Marines are, is so much more than the rank on her collar and the uniform on her shoulders. So, Riley, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. And so the big reveal here is that Captain Tejcek is on the United States bobsledding team going to participate in the Winter Games here coming up. And yeah, what an amazing sort of experience. What a unique experience. Before we get into all that, and congratulations, by the way,
congratulations.
on everything that you're doing. Super exciting. Why don't you talk to a little bit about who you are, like what growing up was like, where are you from, and then sort of your path to the yellow footprints.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before, just a couple clarifications on a couple of things. So I am in contingency for the Olympic Games in 2026. That team's not named until the month prior to the Olympics.
Okay.
So that is something, I like it. Let's put it out there.
Let's clarify.
But I have been named to the United States national team, highest ranking team. Every year it's a new national team. So actually I'm about to head out to team trials to try to be named again. And so that Olympic team, again, isn't named until the month before.
So this is, and I hate to jump forward just to jump back, but because this is such a unique thing and something I think most Americans aren't really aware of, but definitely not this American. But so what does that mean then? Do you have to try out then every year? Like it could be a potentially new team every year?
Yes. And that's what makes this level of competition so difficult, is that your spot's not guaranteed any year.
Yeah.
And you have to show up and earn it every single year. And we have one race at the beginning of the season to dictate our ranking amongst pilots. Because I drive the bobsled. So it's Team Tejcek, which is me, and then someone else behind me. And that person also rotates. So, last year I secured a top 3 spot. I got to compete all across the world, competed in world championships, and have a top ranking overall of 12 in the world right now. However, new year, clean slate, have to earn it.
What was it, Janet Jackson? What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, right.
Well, that is a scuttlebutt first.
We're going to edit that out. So
okay. That's a lot of pressure. But do you find that pressure is an adrenaline drive for you to?
Yeah, I always say pressure's a privilege. And I live by that. Pressure is a privilege. And to have that pressure, don't get me wrong, I feel it. Sometimes I don't sleep very well at night and I can feel that restlessness because I know I have a big event and competition to come up. But I have pressure on me because I'm I'm competing at the highest level
Yeah.
of the highest level. And so I want to continue to have that pressure because that's my why behind why I do what I do when I'm exhausted after a long day of work, having to get these workouts in and maintaining top focus in a sport that is an extreme sport that is dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of it.
So then, so you said you're ranked currently 12th in the world.
Mhm.
How many of those teams are from, would be considered the U.S. national team? Are there
Mhm.
multiple? Or are you guys the one?
So every year, the United States national team will be comprised of 3 sleds. So it's
Okay.
USA 1, 2, and 3. We have 7 women's pilots right now. So there's majority of our team is not on that and fighting for spots.
I
And
see.
so what I like to tell people is making the USA team arguably is harder than making the games. Arguably
Wow.
harder than making other teams because we have the best talent in the world in the United States. So to go to other
That's
countries
awesome.
and try to compete, we'll beat them all the time. Like
Yeah.
our USA 6 girl can go head to head with some other country's number 1
Right.
and be successful. So to make the USA team sometimes, and this is not just for the sport of bobsled, is the hardest thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you're like, shoot, now that I'm here, everything else
Right.
seems easier.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, like,
Wow.
Yeah.
take a
It's
breathe
getting to that.
finally. Yeah.
And so when I say 2 people that I compete against on the USA team are both multiple time Olympic medalists that have been doing this sport for over 15 years.
That's impressive.
And to go head to head with them when they
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
experience, they've
Sure.
been to 5 games already. My goodness, they're number 1 and 2 in the world. They just won gold and silver in the past games. Those are the teammates that I have to go against
Right.
and try to hope that I get that one spot compared to everybody else, or I can knock off one of the world's best.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I always try to tell people the Olympics are my dream. I just made it to World Championships, which is the Olympics of the non-Olympic year.
Right.
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 Right. Competed in Switzerland and got to represent my country. Only top 20 teams made it. But it's so much more complex and it's all about timing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the month before. You better be peaking. You better not be injured, and you better be able to go and be named to that. However, again, and without getting into the intricacies of it, you cannot make the Olympic team without being named to the national team that year. But not everyone on the national team makes
Gotcha.
the Olympic team.
Okay.
Now that makes total sense. So it's a sort of a progression.
Correct.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they're not going to poach from outside. You know who your competition is for the
Right,
Olympics.
Right. You start to
'cause
see
you're
that
already-
funnel.
Yeah.
You start to see it, and that's where we're at right now. So people
Mhm.
are like, okay, so why does this season matter? I'm like, this every season matters. There's always a world championships. We always have top 8 races around the world.
Mhm,
Just because it's not televised as the Olympics doesn't mean the sport doesn't continue to evolve.
Right.
And so every year it's I need to make sure I'm competing head to head against these people that already are Olympians and stuff. Where do I rank up? Because again, like the Olympics, you show up and it's 4 total heats and that's it.
Yeah.
So less than 4 minutes of actual competition,
Yeah.
right? We work 4
That's-
years for less than 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Put that in perspective.
So yeah, like you're saying, you better be peaking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and this is fascinating just from sort of an athletics and an athlete standpoint, but you're also balancing being a Marine. Talk to us a little bit about what that was like. So, growing up, you don't come from you're not a military brat,
No.
right? Okay. So, yeah, what is your story like? What was your upbringing like?
So my father was a professional baseball player, and my mom was she's a boss lady. That's what I call her. She's a boss lady. She
Nice.
worked her way through college, grad school on full scholarships, and has been with the same company since she's graduated grad school, and is like a VP in her company as
Oh, nice.
a female woman, and is just incredible. So very high successful parents
Yeah.
that I was
Yeah.
born in.
Well, some achievers.
Yeah, no
there.
pressure, right?
Slackers.
And so I'm the oldest, and I just from a very young age was ingrained in my mind the discipline of hard work and athletics mixed with academics and being able to apply yourself. And so sports was drilled down my throat because my dad was a baseball player. I was a softball player. That just became natural to me. I ended up getting a Division I college softball scholarship to George Washington. Shout out to my mom for the academic help there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Hey,
Because
G-Dub,
I had to have both.
Talk about both, yeah.
Yeah, I had to have both. And I had no idea I ever wanted to be in the military. And I tell people this all the time because I remember it so clearly. I never thought that was a possibility because I never saw it. So I never saw a female officer in the military. Granted, I grew up in Indiana, so there's not like a big base or anything like that, right? But I never even thought that was an option.
But the advertisements on doing the Super Bowl, none of that stuff,
and let alone the Marine Corps, of all things. You know, I didn't know a whole lot, but I knew enough that like, hey, that's the men's club, that's the boys' club.
Yeah, that's so interesting. When I was a second lieutenant, my OSO was African American, and we were going through the new posters that come out, you know, because as a second lieutenant right out of college, not at TBS yet, you know, you're kind of responsible for like setting up the fruit stands and stuff at this college. It's like, hey, you want to, you know, hey, flock of seagulls, why don't you be a man or whatever. And so they got us new posters and stuff. And for the first time that I had seen, and I'm like you, I wasn't a military brat and didn't, but I'd seen the officer poster was of a black African American captain in his dress blues. And I remember my OSO saying, like, you know, when most Americans see a Marine in uniform, regardless of you know, their ethnicity or whatever, the you know, most white Americans will see it and see the uniform. Black Americans will see it and see that there's a black person in the uniform. And that was always a light bulb moment for me. And so hearing you say the same thing, it's like, holy shit. Yeah. Like that's a real thing, is representation like really does matter.
Yeah. And not being able to see it, how can you envision it? And that's why I tell people all the time, you have to see it to be it. And so the military was never even on my radar. I knew growing up, I was extremely passionate. My dad from athletics would train me with a military mindset. He loved the Navy SEALs. He loves Jocko, that kind of stuff. And so he was like, hey, when you go up to plate and softball, you fail 30% of the time. So I need you to be mentally sharp. So we would study military philosophy and how to be sharp and prepare for battle. Because every time I went to the plate, he said I was going to battle. And so I saw some things like there, right? We watched all the movies, like, you know, Sparta 300, you know, like that kind of stuff. And we're very just like big personality anyways, like hype people. So we got a lot of energy off of that. And so I think the seed was planted from being very patriotic and knowing that the military had a lot to offer from like being mentally sharp. And I do remember like somebody that we always were big fans of the military. And what I mean by fans is, as a little girl, my dad would tell me, go thank them for their service. As a little girl, I'd run up to service members and tell them that. So again, all these things were there. I just never thought it was a possibility. I met a Marine recruiter when I was 18 on campus, and I just fell in love with absolutely everything he had to say about the military. Called my parents week 3 of college. Hey, Mom, Dad. Yeah, so I'm not going to come home this summer. I'm actually going to go to officer candidate school for the Marine Corps. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I think I heard my mom just like weeping in the background.
Really?
My dad's like, can you just get through a softball season and work on being freshman of the year or something, you know? And my mom is like, we sent you to the best school and you're just going to go to the Marine Corps. And they're like, this is a phase. This is a phase. Well, I didn't come home that summer. I went to officer candidate school and I came back and they were so on board.
Oh, nice.
They were a hell of a phase.
Oh my gosh. They were just like, we don't even recognize you, in the sense of like, I never had shot a weapon before. And my dad took me to the range because I was like, yeah, like I want to go shooting now. And I could take apart and put back together a weapon within a minute. And my dad's like, you broke it. I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I like put it back together and he was like, he looked at me like, who are you and what have you done with my daughter?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they saw that it had everything I needed. It had that athletic. I tell everyone, Marines are tactical athletes. It had all of that things in place that I needed to be successful. We just didn't know where I fit in. And then after that first time, my parents are now like the biggest supporters. And I'm like, Mom, don't put the bumper sticker that says my daughter's a Marine. Like, no.
You have 3 of these T-shirts. You don't need the newest version.
So now, I mean, it's complete a 180. And I also think, though, their perspective was similar. Hey, Riley, you don't fit into the Marine Corps because you don't look like one. You don't talk like one. You don't act like one. You're a woman. And so a big part of what I'm trying to do is be that face for so many other people to say, no, like, I may not be what you think of when you say, see a Marine, or if I ask you to describe what a Marine is, I may not fit some of those characteristics. However, I get the job done. I've been extremely successful.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, and watch me do pull-ups and watch me run circles around you as I fire my weapon and get some. And then hours later I can go and I can put my hair on, wear a dress, and you have no idea what I do or who I am. You know, my mom always jokes. She's like, "Yeah, you're Barbie, but at the same time you'll turn around and slit my throat." And I'm like, "Yeah."
You're badass Barbie.
Nice.
Nice. The new badass Barbie. So how does that work? So you then did you go junior seniors then?
Yes.
So
PLC.
then you came back. What was how was the softball team receptive to it?
They loved it.
Did they? Okay.
Loved it. I mean, I was able to implement some. I was always a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I was always a captain. I was a middle infielder, so like that just naturally happened. And my teammates knew at the end of the day more than ever that I was so squared away that when I said something, I was saying it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And I actually noticed a shift in how we ran things and how we went about. I'm not like, it's not a small little military school. That's not what I was doing.
Yeah.
But implementing what the values that the Marine Corps had taught me. And a couple of them, one of them is train your men as a team. Okay, that makes sense. But keep your Marines informed. And I took a step back and was like, oh my gosh, like as a captain, am I looping my teammates into every single conversation of understanding the why and all this stuff? So it was actually like practice. And we went from, when I first committed, a losing team to the first time ever winning our conference championship my senior year. Now, I'm not saying that was just because of me, but what I'm saying is I believe the leadership styles that the Marine Corps taught me was vital in the team chemistry and getting people on board. And I can remember times when we wouldn't put up with the petty stuff. It's like, hey, if you have something to say, like we're going to say it, we're going to hash it out, and we're going to continue to move on and get forward. And we joined through joint suffering. We came together because of that. And this mentality where they knew and they looked at me as like, no, like you're a leader. And the Marine Corps gave me that. And then they love saying it too, right? Oh, she's a Marine.
Yeah.
I'm
Totally.
like, okay, not yet.
So on that note, then were they okay? Like, like I got to go back, and they're like, that's fine.
So they didn't really care as much.
Okay.
It was more harder on me personally because softball is a very long season, and just like MLB, we play a lot of games. We play 7 games a week.
Wow, that's a lot.
So many, and the softball would want me to be strong, powerful, but for the military, I was having to transfer my body to being able to run 3 miles, to be able to do pull-ups, which the 3 miles didn't really go on with softball. Like 3 miles and softball don't really go together. Same thing with bobsled. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself.
Like how many laps around the base paths is that?
A lot. A lot. Too many. Right? And we always joke, if you hit it far enough, you're jogging.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
Like, so for me, I remember doing a 5-hour practice and staying after and then running outside our athletic complex. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to get ready for my 3 mile.
Yeah.
Because 2 days after my conference championships, I showed up at OCS. Like, I can't not. So it wasn't so that they were mad, but it was the frustration of like, I couldn't put on the weight I wanted. I was still lifting strong, but I was spending so much time training and morphing my body that the heaviest and arguably strongest I was my freshman year prior to the Marine Corps. And then after, I said, well, I need to adapt my body. My body's my weapon.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, at OCS, a PFT is an easy day. Like, yeah. Sweet, we're just doing a PFT.
Oh, 100%.
Nice. Yeah.
You're like, bro, that's it?
Yeah.
No trail runs, all this stuff. So, yeah.
So do you think being a Marine has made you a better athlete, or is being an athlete, has that made you a better Marine?
Yeah,
Nice.
I definitely say it goes both ways. I think because I was an athlete, it was really easy for me to make the transition to the Marine Corps. I think it was as an officer, it was very easy for me to always be a part of a team, to function as a team, to have communication and to see the bigger picture. And then because of being a Marine and bobsled specifically, right? I noticed that I had to rely on my training like we do in the military. And then once you've given the order, once you're ready to go, you're reacting. And I remember one specific story real fast. I was driving my bobsled and I hopped in and I kicked basically my steering system, and it wrapped around my foot peg. So that means that the front axle was completely changed to one side before I got in. And normally, like that would probably result majority of the time in a crash, and you'd go down the whole way on your head. And I swear it felt like the world just slowed down. I let go. I went down. I untangled it, and I had one of the best runs that year.
That's great.
And my coach was like, yo, you crushed that run. And I'm like, I almost died. I'm like, I need a second. I'm like, I need a second. No one talked to me. And they're like, I don't understand what's happening. I was like, I kicked my D-ring. Like, I thought we were going over. I don't curse. My teammate in the back said they started hearing me say all these things, and they're like, what's going on?
You're like, I'm just happy that a bobsled didn't end up on my top of my head.
Yeah, because I kicked it. Like, and I relate that because of my Marine Corps training. Because when I remember being in the field at TBS and doing this stuff, you're just reacting, and this situations changing. People in the Quantico Hills are coming out of nowhere in war, right? You're seeing things, and you have to be adaptable, and you can't stop and think. You just have to go and trust the training that you've had. And so that specific moment, I say all the time, I'm like, if I didn't have that training in the Marine Corps of high intensity, high pressure, quote, life and death on the line, taking care of me and someone else, I don't know if I would have been as successful as a 23-year-old when I kicked my D-rings and we would have crashed on our head the next, minute and severely injured ourselves. And I think that there's so many things constantly that there isn't a Riley the Marine, Riley the bobsledder. That is, both of them are true identities, and they both keep playing off of each other and make it better. The Marines love that I'm a bobsledder. The bobsledders love that I'm a Marine. I'm like, cool, win-win. And you can merge this community to see like what you're able to do. And again, I say this all the time. I love to recognize myself as a tactical athlete and say that amongst all military members. Like, we are athletes. We eat, sleep, and train like it. And what we're asked to do in war and combat situation is to perform as an athlete with the highest stakes of pressure.
Sure.
Right.
Not, we lost.
Yeah, second place.
Yeah, no. Like, no, you didn't get shot,
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as that murder that you're talking about, I mean, we've seen that in some of in the recognition, right? You were recognized as the Athlete of the Year for 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
What was that like for you? I mean, it seems like it's recognition of something that you seem to have already fully embraced. It just is, I guess, another accolade. But
yeah, I mean, I got that award in 2021, only a year of doing bobsled, and that's because I had some medals to show for it. I was doing well in the military with my scores, and it talked about community involvement and what I was doing to give back. And I'm very big into volunteering and doing stuff, especially with my church. And looking back at it now, I'm like, I can't believe I won it. Like, look what I'm doing now. Like, I'm so much better now than I was there. But for me at that time, I can't tell you what it meant to be recognized by the Marine Corps for my efforts, because that photo, that announcement, that everything got more people on board behind me and gave me more legitimacy. That showed that the Marine Corps backed me and stood behind me on what I was doing. And so it's really simple that, yes, the trophy's in my office and it's beautiful, but it's not the trophy itself that meant something. It was the award that came with it, that the Marine Corps took the time. Yeah. I had a general, shake my hand and say, hey, we're proud of you for what you're doing. Keep going, and we're here to support you. And that, there's no value, there's no price that you could put on that. And that gave me the motivation to say, you know what, this isn't just about me. I have people behind me that are counting on me, that support me. Like, I have to keep going, and I have to keep fighting. And when days get hard, I think about that. I think about all the Marines that are looking to me, that have stood behind me, that support me in those endeavors, that want to keep propelling me and pushing me forward. So it was an awesome honor. I do plan on applying again.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. So I'm just saying, I like one of the things I so appreciate your humility in this, because for me, as sort of a self-professed narcissist, I'd be like, I'm on the fucking national team. Like, of course I'm getting this award. What are you talking about? Like, everybody else is fighting for second place.
Yeah, I think the way I just carry out things, I just don't feel like a lot is given. You deserve a lot in the Marine Corps. Let me put it that way. I took my oath, and I knew that, like, I'm here to serve my country. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So it's like, all right, Marine Corps, what do you need? I'm here. I've signed over, like, all this stuff. So then for them to give something back, it sounds like an abusive relationship, but I just I don't expect it. So then when that happened, and they're like, hey, we're having a ceremony for you. And
it's tough love. It's just tough love.
It is tough love.
But when you get it, right, you get a little bit, it's like the most addicting thing in the world, right?
Sure.
So I'm here, and I'm like looking up to them like, me? Like, right. And agreed. Someone else would be like, well, duh, of course, idiot. Like, of course you're going to get it. But to me, it was like the greatest thing. And my dad flew out. I was presented in California. My dad flew out from Indiana just to be present there. Comshot was there. Like, that's one of my dad's framed photos is of me and him with that award in his office.
That's awesome. That's so cool to hear. And I mean, it's funny that you say like, that's not what you can, your country can do for you, but you can do for your country. It's like for you, it's like, well, I'll fight your battles. Oh yeah, and I'll get you a couple medals too.
Right, I'll represent you
if you don't mind.
We're overachievers.
I'll do this thing. Yeah.
In the Marine Corps.
Well, let's talk about getting medals then. So, because your path to bobsledding was fairly unconventional.
Yes.
You said you grew up in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
You went to here in DC. You go to college, play softball.
Yep.
And then, how does that work? I think we talked about this a little bit at one of the events, but yeah. Well, I don't want to steal your thunder. Like, how did that all come to be?
Yeah, so people always ask me, how did you bobsled Indiana or blah, blah. I'm like, I didn't. Okay. Playing softball at GW is where Alana Myers-Taylor also played softball. Alana Myers-Taylor is a 5-time Olympian for the sport of bobsled. And so I knew of her. I met her. I presented her an award. I had a conversation with her. I was like, man, in another life, I would be a bobsledder, but I have the Marine Corps. And I knew how special that was to me and what I wanted to give to that. So I just kind of kept that in the back of my head, but supported her through that. Hey, cool, alumni. Yeah, you're Olympian. Dude, that's sick.
Yeah,
probably maybe what some people look at me as now. And, I finished my military training. I was like, I want to be the best I can be. I commissioned the basic school, logistics school. Boom, this mysterious fleet happens. I'm like, sick. I'm here. I made it. And it's COVID. And I'm like, amazing. And I love to look at opportunities and make the most out of nothing. And I'm like, okay, COVID, you suck, but there has to be something good that comes out of this.
Right.
And I realized that I kind of lost my why. I kind of lost my next goal because I had achieved everything I wanted to up until that point, right? Like I finished top in the Marine Corps training. I'm filling an 03 billet as a brand new second lieutenant, reporting to Lieutenant Colonel with a unit of 750 Marines. Like what else could I possibly want? But I didn't have that drive. And I want to join the Marine Corps softball team. I was like, oh, this makes sense. COVID, think again. I'm like, sick. And I saw from Alana that bobsled was having an online combine. So generally the combine is just assessing athletic ability. And they normally do it in only certain person events. So it's very random if you hear about it, or you have to travel far just to even show up. Well, it's online. I was like, cool. I'll spend a month. I'll just train. At least I have something to train for. Yeah. I want to see how I stack against the best of the people in the world. And then me being bold and just my personality, I decided to pick up the phone. I called the head coach. And I said, hey, it's Riley. I'm a Marine officer. I'm in my office right now. I'm going to be submitting a video, so you should pay attention to it.
Yeah, keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, you should pay attention to it.
You're going to be impressed. You're going to love this.
Yeah, and here's who I am. And I don't think you're going to find someone like me. And kind of not cocky, just confident. And then I called Alana. Got in contact with Alana. She gave me more information and contacts. And the next thing I know, I got an invite. And I said, oh my gosh, this just happened. And I said, oh no, I have to ask my boss. I'm like, how do I explain this one? Because that's just who I am. I just constantly do things that surprise people. No one expected me to join the Marine Corps. My poor parents, when they get a FaceTime call from me, they never know where I am or what I'm going to say.
Like, what's she coming up with
these
next?
Poor parents. I'm going to join the Marine Corps. They're like, what? 19, I'm going to move to Kyrgyzstan and study Russian so I can be a better officer. They're like, what? Oh, by the way, I'm in the middle of season, but I'm interning for a congressman so I can learn policy because he has Fort Hood in his district. They're like, what? And we get here and I'm like, hey, I know you guys are so proud of me. And I just got at my new job, but I'm going to go try out for the bobsled team. And my dad, like my mom is like, can you just stop for 5 seconds? And I'm like, I will never stop. I'm gonna keep running through doors. I've done even more crazy things.
Have you heard of a nap?
I don't do naps. I don't not when the sun's up. That's just like my personality. So anyone who knows, like, if we haven't talked for a month, I always have something I'm about to brief you on. Prepare. So again, my poor parents, the heart attacks that I've given them. And so that's kind of how it was. And I just went for it. My boss was extremely supportive. I had to show my worth as a Marine and show that I could be squared away and get things done. Was able to do that. They believed in me. I did well. 3 years later, made the national team, competed, and I'm sitting with you guys today to talk about it.
It's so crazy. I mean, the thing is that to hear you talk about it again, sort of the humility, which is really is so unique, is that you're making it seem, I think, a lot simpler.
Yeah.
Like I do want to encourage our listeners to definitely like carpe diem, seize the bull by the horns, and all those great cliches. But I'm guessing it's a little harder than that.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot harder.
I mean, I know, society loves to talk these days, talk about, well, just put it out to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little bit of that, but there is a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, you have to, and time management, I would imagine.
You have to back it up with action. You can say anything you want. You can manifest whatever the heck you want, but if you don't get up and do something about it, I just say, I'm not going to waste time talking about it because I'm already doing it. So you're going to be talking about it after I do it.
Yeah.
Is what I say a little bit. But I think when you're looking at the situation, like, yeah, I drive a bobsled 90 plus miles an hour. I have to memorize all these tracks. I have to do that while maintaining Marine Corps standards, while being a captain in the Marine Corps, while trying to be a daughter, a family, a friend, own my own kind of like small business stuff on the side, and have a life at the end of it.
Yeah. And so what is that like then? Like, what is, again, like, this is such a unique experience. I don't think like a lot of our listeners, and myself included, were able to draw any corollaries. What's your daily battle rhythm like? Like, what are you up before the sun and in bed after it's down? Like, how does it?
Yeah, I don't get enough sleep, so my hair will probably turn gray here very soon and wrinkles on my face.
That's why mine's so short.
Wrong with
That's why mine's so short, man.
Yeah, so I'm 26 and we're kicking it, but no day looks the same. And I always go back to what are my priorities. And I hate the excuse why I don't have time. No, I had time. You just weren't a priority. And that's the hard reality. My number one priority is my Marines. My number one priority is my job as a Marine officer. That's just that. That's the commitment I made. That's the order of that. Second thing I have to make sure I get taken care of is my workouts. I have to train. And there's days when I don't get to, and I'm pissed off, but I'm like, I had to get what I had to done. Third, then I have to be able to rest and recover and eat.
Yeah.
And that sounds silly, but that actually takes a
lot
of time.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to train 6 days a week means I have to be recovering in that. So sleep is vital, but I will say that's the one thing I sacrifice the most. Because, I'm doing all this. I'm trying to get my story out there. I'm trying to inspire other people. I'm trying to help with recruiting efforts. I'm trying to find ways to pay for what I do for bobsled. And you're a Marine all the time. Like, that doesn't just like shut off. There is no 9 to 5 hours, so a lot of it. Absolutely. So a lot of it is, how can I get 2 workouts in a day? And that's early wake ups. That's shutting my phone off early. That's not really having a social life. It's me and my cats at home.
Yeah.
And that's that. And it's lonely for sure. But that's some of the sacrifices that I have to make. And there's times when I don't have times to go see some of my friends and everything like that. But again, it'll all be worth it when I'm standing on the podium one day. So,
and what is that like then for your Marines? Like when you take PT formation, they're just like, fuck.
So, when I showed up, I'm like, hey, Devil Dogs, you're with me, so you're gonna be PTing with me.
Yeah.
And at first they hate it, and they hate me during the workouts, but they love it after, because they're like, I've never done anything like this. And a goal and dream that I have is, even here at Quantico, and I've been actually, we're going to put out there, it's actually in the works, is to run some actually events where it's like, hey, come train with Riley, and I'll take you through a warm-up, a cool-down, and a full workout here on base. And it's open to anyone on base,
great.
Marines and civilians alike, and just be like, hey, let's freaking get after it.
Yeah.
And I'll just program workout. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to be able to do to give back. I didn't know some of these things that I've learned from Team USA, and I was a Division I athlete, so I know some of these Marines don't know things. Like I said, if you're a tactical athlete, you have to know how to take care of your body.
Sure.
And so these are things that I want to give back, and I want to be able to do. And my Marines love me for it, because they're like, wow, I'm in the best shape. Or I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Go to the gym for an hour. What? Go PT. That's a part of your job.
Yeah.
So who helps you train?
So I have a coach. His name's Les Spellman. He's incredible. He's one of the best in the world. Speed and strength and conditioning. He works with NFL, MLB, NHL athletes from all over. So he programs me. Unfortunately, I had to leave him in San Diego. But he does remote programming.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then is that just like he will just send you sort of a daily text, and then you respond back with like what you accomplished, or like you FaceTiming? Like how does all that?
Yeah, he's really awesome and has an app.
Okay.
And so all the programs, like in there.
Does he ever have to watch you perform to make sure your mechanics are okay?
That's the hardest part I'm struggling with right now. In this new era, this past couple months, not having someone there that has that skill set is detrimentally hurting me.
Yeah.
How do you coach from a distance, right? You can tell them the workout all day long, but just like as a Marine, you have to inspect what you expect.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of trying to navigate through that right now. So I don't have that down, despite what everyone thinks that I have my whole life figured out. I don't. And I still got to figure out how I can adjust with that. But what I do is I reach out to some Marines. And so I have a couple buddies that are other captains of the Marine Corps. And I'm like, hey, just come work out with me. You don't know anything about like what I'm doing, but at least do the workout with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I at least have a training partner. And obviously, if you see something that looks jacked up or whatever, like let me know. But at least I can get that extra motivation. But I'm struggling with that, to be honest.
Man, I can imagine, and because it is. I think saying that Marines are tactical athletes is so kind of you. But if you ever watch Marines play basketball, you'll know that's
just because you're an athlete doesn't mean you're athletic.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you can be an athlete and not very coordinated at times, for sure. But yeah, there's so much of that, especially this era where sports science, kinesiology, physiology is so fine-tuned, specific, and so advanced. That there are so many. I can only imagine the challenges that you have trying to balance both things. And so again, like my hat's off to you for just the amount of effort and dedication that you have in all this. It's really, it's crazy. Are we doing all right on time?
We've got about 10, 15 minutes left.
Okay, cool. So I'll get to then. So how does the injury thing work? I got to imagine that both the U.S. national team and the Marine Corps, kind of like how actors have to sign like certain clauses. They're not going to do like hazardous sports when they're like getting ready for a movie. Like, how does that are both of them like, oh gosh, she's going to do the obstacle course, and then the Marine Corps is like, oh god, she's going to go do this. Like, is everybody sort of freaking out like that you're going to get injured and damage the goods?
I think the less I tell people, the better.
That's a good strategy.
It's like you said, like after it's over, I'll tell you all about it.
Right. Or you can be talking about it as I'm doing it, and you're like, whoa. And I'm like, I did it. Yeah, a lot of people don't know stuff about bobsled, so I'm very fortunate. I'm lucky about it. Being in the sport and being young, I've had a lot of crashes and failures. And those crashes are the worst thing in the world. 90 miles an hour. We experience 45 Gs when you crash. Your head's pinned. Your skin is burning.
Your head explodes, right?
That and your shoulder. Your skin is burning off. We've had people get skin grafts. You have all these different injuries. And I've walked away from crashes completely concussed, not knowing where I am, thanking the Lord that I'm alive.
Wow.
And coming back, I know that that injuries adds up over time. I know that TBI and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even felt like my memory struggle and other things like that. But what I will say is I do two extreme professions.
Yeah. You're not doing like basket weaving and then,
being a Marine and firing weapons and, getting after it and getting some and then partnering that with bobsled just makes sense. So I think, I have like two stepdads and they both love me, but they both don't want to talk to each other. So it's really great because they don't really know. And I try to keep my injuries I'm admitting this on live, but I'm keep my injuries quiet.
Dozens of people right now are
totally
I keep my injuries kind of quiet within myself. I know my limits. I know what I can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a non-deployable status right now, unit, so I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, and I stay medically fit. But there has been times when I actually almost get myself injured trying to balance the two. And what I mean by that is bobsled wants me heavy and wants me to be able to move weight quickly. And softball makes sense. But when you go to the Marine Corps standards, and specifically for the 3-mile run, heavy doesn't move fast.
Right.
And so there's times when I do a full season of bobsled, try to get as big, as heavy, as strong as I can. And I have 1 month. So when everyone in bobsled takes the 1 month off, like April,
you're gearing up for PFT.
I go straight into PFT training, and I have to lose weight. I get shin splint. it's terrible because I can't balance both. And I give myself 1 month, and then what everyone's rested, I'm exhausted. And then I have to, unlike everyone else, put all that weight back on and restart every single year. Every single year I do that. And every year it absolutely mentally and physically is exhausting and leads to a form of small injury, or it sets me back, or I never can get back to where I was, or just the mental defeat of like, or never stopping. Right. But again, so as I say that and as I admit that it's hard, the same time I look at that and I said, heck yeah, that's why I do it. Because if it was easy, everyone would do it. There's a reason it hasn't been done before. There's a reason why people don't do the Marine Corps and do some of the things that I'm doing because they don't mesh. And so I actually sometimes get more motivated because I'm out there and I'm like, heck yeah. While everyone else is resting and not doing anything, I'm freaking getting after it. I'm training my body. I'm doing things that no one else would do. I'm putting myself in situations that is not good for me. And gosh dang it, that absolutely gets me going. And then I can keep doing it. And so how I sustain it in those hard moments is I look and I'm like, no one else is doing what I'm doing. And I know that. And I know that I have to work 10 times harder than everyone else to maintain this do both status. Now, I can't replicate that forever.
Sure.
But my goodness, while I can, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Right, well,
you got the juice, right? Man. You got me motivated.
Yeah. We're going to start training tomorrow, Vic?
Yeah. Tomorrow? After this, man.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'll see what my calendar looks like.
We'll talk later.
Because I got to edit this.
Oh, right,
and like get it ready to go and stuff. So how does that work? So again, like, you have the drive, you have the ability, you have all these things. That's not enough at times, right? Because you except for when I-95 ices over, there's not a lot of places around here for you to train. Right. So I got to imagine you're doing a lot of travel on top of all of this other stuff, and doesn't come cheap.
Right.
How is that? How is the funding aspect of this all working out for you?
Yeah, that's the biggest struggle is that, like, as you mentioned, I train back and forth at Olympic Training Center out of Lake Placid, New York. It's closer than here than it was in California, but we're basically expected as USA athletes to be able to self-sustain. And Team USA does pay for some things, but like you said, budget-wise for the bobsled team isn't massive because people don't know about it. There's not a whole lot of revenue. We're not USA Gymnastics. Yeah. So it's up to the athletes to be able to find sponsorships and be able to make this work. So, never as a Marine, but as a Team USA athlete, Riley, the bobsledder, I work my absolute rear end off to market myself, to work with companies to see, hey, can we come up with an agreement? Like, I'll put you on my sticker. I'll help fund you on social media. I'll help do all this kind of stuff so I can offset costs because doing the sport, I'm actually losing money. Last year, I spent over 10 grand of my own money just to compete. And that doesn't happen. When people hear the word professional athlete, they're like, you do what? So on top of doing all this, breaking myself off, I'm also doing that financially too and having to make means work. So, I'm super thankful that the Lord has blessed me and provided ways, and people have come in and been like, well, I can help you in any way possible. And financially, sure, but I've had people offer like, hey, I can book a flight with points for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that saves me money. That's huge. So it's not all about the money. I always tell myself based off my faith, like if there's a way, like it'll happen and like the Lord will bless me tenfold. If I'm not supposed to be there, I won't. But that's an added stressor and an added job is marketing myself constantly. I don't want to hire an agent because I don't want to lose money. And people laugh at me when they say I'm a bobsledder anyways, because they're like, well, that makes no money. But I've been blessed and fortunate, and I also hold myself to a standard. I'm only going to work with veteran or military-owned companies. Wow. I'm not going away from that. That's my community. Man. Those are my people. And so I have lost stuff because of that. But if I stay strong to that, eventually, hopefully, the big people will come knocking, and they'll start seeing and respect me for holding that line and wanting to give back to the community that I've not growing
up amazing.
In,
I mean, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's again it's so rare to hear these sorts of things, especially when it comes to sports marketing, because as you know, I mean, that can be one of the most brutal, cutthroat. Yeah. I mean, there's not a ton of ethics. In sports marketing and sports entertainment. So, I mean, that's just absolutely that's fantastic. Well, we'll definitely post all of your stuff Do you have a place, like if our listeners want to donate or contribute, do you have a place that they can go to?
Yeah,
for
the
that?
best thing, if you guys are listening right now, I'm very active on Instagram only.
Okay.
Handles Riley.Tejcek. And then through there, I have links that I have a GoFundMe that I just have. It's been since I started the sport. So it just like, I just haven't changed it. So it's the same one. And then I even have people that are just like, hey, we just want to like Venmo you, or we just want to like buy something for you. So I've had people like buy me a new pair of running shoes, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was awesome.
Right.
So, and then I also want to just make a quick plug here.
Yeah.
It's not all about financial ways to help. You know, there's ways that I'm like, you can help me by praying for me. You can help me by sharing my photos, by liking my stuff, by telling other people, by listening, by following up with my story, by supporting Team USA bobsled, and just paying attention to the things that we're doing. You know, I think there's more ways than people think that they can help with doing very little. And part of this is to get the story out there, not selfishly for me, but to impact lives of what I would think is young girls all around the world.
Absolutely.
Of being like, look what you can do. And it's about entering those spaces that people haven't before. It's entering the male-dominated roles of professional sport and the military.
Well,
and showing that you do both.
Like just sparking that imagination.
Totally.
Again, like the thing that, I mean, it's not that it's necessarily malicious,
right.
But it's just you don't think of it because you don't see it,
right?
And here you are. I mean, that's such a great point. And we definitely want to be a part of that.
And we're going to be telling your story in Leatherneck Magazine in a spring
there it is.
issue. So
all
you
plug.
dozens of listeners, stay tuned. That's coming out soon.
Yeah, coming out, and then we're gonna do another with you after your training as you're getting ready to go.
Yep.
And so we're gonna be cheering you on the whole way. We know you're gonna make it.
Absolutely.
This is gonna be awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your super busy schedule to be with us today. We'll post all of your links and stuff in the show description so that our listeners can help, contribute, like, reshare, repost, whatever kids are calling it these days. And thank you so much, Riley, for being on Semper Fidelis, man. This is awesome.
Thanks, guys.
A common axiom is that those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Another axiom is that we sweat in peace so that we don't bleed in war. Here at the Marine Corps Association, we fully understand both. That is why we offer through our professional development page on our website a comprehensive catalog of battle studies, tactical and ethical decision games, and war games to ensure that not only do we learn from the past, but we embrace the thoughts and decisions that influence the outcomes of some of the greatest actions of the Marine Corps. We have tools and techniques that will enhance both unit training as well as enable comprehensive self-study. Check out all that the Marine Corps Association has to offer on our website. Go to mca-marines.org/professional-development. That's mca-marines.org/professional-development. And get your reps and sets in.
Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. I am William Truding, but you've also heard the voices or contributions of Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Lichman, or Ty Frazier. The opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect the official stance of the Marine Corps, DoD, or Marine Corps Association.